Hello, Pasangala. Vanakkam and welcome. This is your master teacher, Nivetha, making bio learning very, very simplified just for all of you guys. So, a very, very good afternoon to all of you watching the live. Do tell a hi in the chat section so we can start the live. So, இன்னைக்கு live ரொம்ப simple ஆனப்பா. நான் முதலே சொல்லிடுறேன் மேம் இந்த சாப்டர் ரொம்ப ஈஸியான சாப்டர் நிறைய பேர் சொல்லுவீங்க சாட்ல நானே சொல்லிடுறேன் இது ரொம்ப ஈஸியான சாப்டர் பசங்களா and it is a chapter where you can expect 2 to 3 questions in your NEET exam. So you're watching this live for around 8 marks pasangla, which is not a joke, okay? And all the questions come directly from your NCERT. So NCERT tavara idla edachu kepangana kandipa kedayadu, and this time they have also reduced the syllabus. Adha highlight, okay? Naraya portions on the reduce pannirukanga. So first let's see the syllabus update. Before that, yesterday I have uploaded last 90 days preparation strategy for NEET, okay? If you guys haven't checked it out, please do check it out. And if you guys want this PDF in the session or the PDF ungalku venona, you can go and get it downloaded from the link that is given in the description below. So shall we start the session pasangla? Shall we start the session? A very good afternoon all of you. Am I audible? Can someone please confirm me if I'm audible? Is the screen visible? Anyone, please? Okay. So, ஒரே shotல NCERT lines பண்ண போறோம். அதுல இருந்து எப்படி questions கேட்கப்படும்னு பார்க்க போறோம். And we are also going to discuss PYQs. That's the entire highlight of this session, பசங்களா. So, what is this update? Syllabus update என்னப்பா என்ன portions இருக்கு என்ன portions இல்ல, okay? For ecosystem, follow your new NCERT, okay? So what is given in NCERT is the same that is the syllabus for NEET also பசங்களா. So என்னென்ன இருக்குன்னா, you have ecosystem patterns இருக்கு, okay? You have the components of ecosystem, productivity and types, decomposition where you guys are supposed to understand the entire process. Okay, you have energy flow, pyramid of number, biomass and energy. So என்னென்ன topics delete பண்ணப்பட்டிருக்கு. So you guys know you don't have to study these topics. So one is succession. You don't have to study succession, and you don't even have to study the cycles. So what are the two cycles which were there? The carbon and phosphorus cycle. Both of it are deleted from your syllabus pasangla. So if this deleted update is clear, let's now continue with the chapter. So ரொம்ப ஈஸியான chapter pasangla, NCERT லயே ரொம்ப simplified ஆ கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. பட் நீங்க என்ன புரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னா எப்படி இதுல இருந்து எப்படி questions கேட்க போறாங்கன்றது தான் ரொம்ப முக்கியமான விஷயம். Come on, let's get into the session. Yes. Yeah, so what we are going to do in today's session, we are going to study ecosystem structure and function. We are going to discuss productivity na enna, adoda types enna. So this is very important. I saw many PYQs from productivity, okay? And you also have decomposition, the process of decomposition. What are the 5 steps involved in decomposition? And you also have energy flow pasangla. Energy flow romba mukkiyam. And then you have energy pyramids, okay? So if you guys are thorough with all this, you are ready to get 8 to 12 marks in your NEET exam, okay? So those of you who are watching the live, please do let me know in the chat section if we can start. Okay, so I will start. What is ecosystem? Ecosystem na enna pasangla modalla adha clear ah padichupom. Ecology ku ecosystem ku confuse agadinga. So what is ecology? Ecology is the study of interaction between living and non-living things pasangla. But what is ecosystem? It's a unit, okay? Romba important. It is a functional unit of an biosphere is what we call it as ecosystem. It is a functional unit of nature where living things interact with each other and they also interact with non-living things. So adha pasangla nama vandu ecosystem nu solrom, okay? So since this system is too much big and complex, right? So the earth is too huge, okay, to study ecosystem just as it is. So they divided ecosystem into 2 types, okay? One is your terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Romba mukkiyam, romba easy, okay? Now what is this terrestrial ecosystem? You have have your forest, grassland, desert. They are all some of the examples of terrestrial ecosystem, pasangla. Then, what are the examples of a aquatic ecosystem? Pond, lake, rivers, estuaries, oceans, seas. They are all examples for your aquatic ecosystem. Whereas, there is artificial ecosystem also. So, உங்க வீட்ல ஒரு aquarium வச்சிருந்தீங்கன்னா, that aquarium is an example for an artificial ecosystem. So, if there is a crop field, right? So, in crop field, I decide what are the crops that needs to be sown, right? So, your crop field and your aquarium are examples for an artificial ecosystem, and this is very, very important for NEET, okay? So, examples of artificial ecosystem. Now, we shall continue with something very, very important, okay? What is stratification? In the stratification என்ற word ரொம்ப முக்கியம், NEET examக்கு ரொம்ப முக்கியம். Vertical distribution of different species occupying different levels is called stratification. இப்போ ரெயின் ஃபாரஸ்ட் எடுத்துக்கோங்க பசங்களா, ஓகே? ஸோ அந்த ரெயின் ஃபாரஸ்ட்ல எப்படி இருக்கும்? You have very huge tall trees, right? So they occupy the first strata, okay? What do they occupy? They occupy the first strata. Strata na onnu illa, level, okay? And then you will have small, adoda inno koncham small trees irukum. So they occupy the second strata, okay? Then you have very small herbs, okay, which occupy the third strata. So that is what we call it as stratification. The vertical distribution of species occupying different levels is called as stratification. For example, trees occupy the top or vertical strata, or a layer of forest, shrubs the second, and the herbs and grasses occupy the bottom layer. So this could also be a possible NEET question in your exam, okay? இப்போ ஒரு ecosystem நம்ம எப்படி எல்லாம் define பண்றோம் பசங்களா? We define it by so many என்ன சொல்றது, ஒரு productivity ஆகட்டும், decomposition ஆகட்டும், அதுல எப்படி energy flow நடக்குது, அதுல எப்படி nutrient cycling நடக்குது, அதெல்லாம் வச்சு தான் நான் வந்து ஒரு ecosystem define பண்றேன் பசங்களா, okay? So you have all these three in your syllabus except nutrient cycling. Nutrient cycling is not involved in your syllabus. So what you are going to be studying? You are going to be studying productivity, okay? You are going to be studying decomposition, energy flow, and nutrient cycling, okay? Can someone please confirm me if I am audible? Am I audible first of all? Anyone please? Or I will only check. சொல்லுங்க பசங்களா, if I am audible? Okay, இப்போ நம்ம first பார்க்க போறது productivity, okay? So what do you understand by productivity? Why no one, மூணு பேர் தான் watch பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்க, why no one is answering? Okay, am I audible or not? Yeah, so first let's discuss about hi, yes. Am I audible, Alvin? Can you please confirm? Yes, thank you so much for responding, okay? இப்போ நம்ம productivity na என்னன்னு பார்க்கலாம் பசங்களா. டைரக்டா காப்பி பேஸ்ட் பண்ணி questions கண்டிப்பா கேட்பாங்க உங்க எக்ஸாம்ல, okay? So the rate of biomass production, எவ்வளோ biomass produce ஆகுது. Biomassனா என்னப்பா? The amount of plants, the amount of animals, okay? When we count something in terms of weight, that is what we call it as biomass பசங்களா. It is expressed in terms of gram to the power -2 or per year. So இது வந்து நம்ம எப்படி சொல்றோம்? Gram to the power -2 and per year. This is very, very important from exam point of view, okay? Or it is also expressed in terms of energy. So what is the unit of energy? Calories. So here we express it in terms of kilocalories per meter square per year. So this per year is a very, very important thing that you guys should understand. ஒரு வருஷத்துக்கு ஒரு இடத்துல எவ்வளோ kilocalories of energy produce ஆகுது. That is one way of measuring your productivity, okay? The another way is to measure the biomass, okay? So both are absolutely correct. இந்த productivity வந்து நம்ம ரெண்டு விதமா define பண்றோம். One is primary productivity, another one is secondary productivity pasangla. This is very important. Now the primary productivity is of two types. What are they? Gross primary productivity and net primary productivity. Okay, so let's try to understand the nuantic differences between your gross primary productivity and net primary productivity, which is very, very important. So gross primary productivity of an ecosystem is the rate of production of organic matter during photosynthesis. Romba simple. One plant, a group of plants, how much of biomass are they producing, or how much of organic matter are they producing during photosynthesis? That is very, very important. Okay, எனக்கு மொத்தமா இப்ப பாருங்க, ஒரு மந்த்துக்கு மொத்தமா ஒருத்தங்க வந்து ஒரு person X வச்சுக்கோங்க. The person X is earning around 1 lakh. So that is his gross primary productivity. Okay, then what is net? இப்போ அந்த 1 lakhல PF, ESI, all that will get cut, but in hand he will get a little bit less. That is what we call it as your net primary productivity பசங்களா. எவ்வளோ மிச்சம் இருக்கு, எவ்வளோ மிச்சம் இருக்கு, that is what we call it as net. Okay, so where is this energy going? Where is this organic matter going? பாவம் இந்த பிளான்ட்ஸுக்கும் சில எனர்ஜி தேவைப்படும்ல. So some amount of organic matter is lost by the plants through the process of respiration. Okay, so that is why we tell the net primary productivity ரொம்ப important பசங்களா. NPP is equal to GPP minus R. Okay, I want everyone watching this live direct question கேட்டிருக்காங்க பசங்களா உங்க NEET examல. Okay, so I have the proof also. By the end of the session we will be discussing PYQs. Okay, so all of you write it in the chat section. NPP is equal to GPP minus R. What is R here? It is respiratory loss. Okay, they have asked in one question paper, they have given this and கேட்டிருக்காங்க R denotes what? R denotes respiratory loss பசங்களா. So that is very, very important. Okay, so net primary productivity is the available biomass for the consumption of heterotrophs. மிச்சம் நம்மளுக்கு எவ்வளோ இருக்கு, that is what we call it as net primary productivity. Is this clear? All of you understood the difference between GPP and NPP. Okay, so these are the two types of primary productivity. இப்போ நம்ம secondary productivity தான் என்னன்னு பார்க்கலாம். So what we are doing, we heterotrophs are consuming this net primary productivity and we are also producing new organic matter. கரெக்டா? அதை தான் நம்ம வந்து செகண்டரி ப்ரொடக்டிவிட்டின்னு சொல்றோம். The new biomass that is produced by the heterotrophs by consuming the net primary productivity is what we call it as secondary productivity பசங்களா. ஒரு question கேட்கிறேன். Let me see how many of you will answer this correctly. Okay, so I have net primary productivity, I have gross primary productivity. இது ரெண்டுல எது பசங்களா அதிகமா இருக்கும்? gross அதிகமா இருக்குமா, net அதிகமா இருக்குமா? This was also a question in your NEET exam. Which will be more? Whether it will be a net primary productivity or gross primary productivity? Yes, very simple question. Kandipa pasangla. Always my gross primary productivity will be more or it will be high. Okay, my net primary productivity will be less. Okay, try to understand this. This was also a question in your exam. Okay, so productivity, yes, gross primary productivity is high. Very, very good. Okay, so இது நீங்க புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. இது ஒரு ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் கூட உங்க NEET examல கேட்டிருக்காங்க, which we are going to discuss in today's class. Okay, so productivity முடிஞ்சது, அவ்வளவுதான். இந்த ஒரு ரியாக்ஷனை மட்டும் நீங்க எல்லாருமே கிளியரா புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். net primary productivity is equal to gross primary productivity minus respiratory loss. Okay, yeah. Now the net இந்த லைன் ரொம்ப முக்கியம் பசங்களா. The annual net primary productivity of the whole biosphere, நம்ம whole biosphereல எவ்வளோனா 170 billion tons. Okay, 170 billion ton நம்ம entire biosphere ஓட productivity பசங்களா. Okay, so இதுல வெறும் 55 billion ton தான் உங்க oceans produce பண்ணுது. Okay, so that is a very, very less amount of biomass or organic matter is produced by the oceans. Can anyone tell me why? Though oceans consume 72% of your entire earth, correct? But still, why the productivity is very, very less? Because pasangla, there the plants are very less. Okay, though the plants are very less, the sunlight doesn't penetrate deep into the oceans, right? So there are very less photosynthetic organisms when compared to the terrestrial region, and that is why in oceans the productivity is low? Okay, they can ask you this question. Why is productivity very low in oceans? It is because of this one reason, pasangla. So 170 billion ton. This number is very important. Okay, if you are very lucky, you can get a question from this. The whole the productivity of the biosphere is 170 billion tons. Okay, so that completes the first character. Next one we are going to understand is decomposition. Decomposition na enna pasangla? Breaking down, correct? So there are certain organisms called decomposers, okay, which breaks down large dead and decayed matter into small fragments, correct? So can anyone tell me some examples of decomposers? Decomposers oda examples solunga. Inga parunga pasangala, every organism that is born one day will die, right? So when they die, they become a biomass, right? So that biomass has to be broken down, it has to be recycled, it has to be cleaned. And who is doing that cleaning work? It is your decomposers. So decomposers help in keeping the environment very clean. Okay, so keep that in mind. Decomposers break down complex organic matter into inorganic. Organic is changing into inorganic. This could also be a question in your exam. Okay, like carbon dioxide, water and nutrients, and this entire and this entire process is called as decomposition. Okay, and what are these organisms called? So in the decomposers nama vandu detrivores nu kuda solluvom. Okay, eppadi herbivore, carnivore, omnivore nu solromo adhe mari we have something called as detrivores. These are organisms which actually feed upon detritus. Okay, so detritus na enna ma'am? This is your detritus pasangla. They are the organic waste, okay, or dead and decayed matter is called as detritus. So this detrivores feed on detritus. Okay, I asked you a question. Can you guys give an example for detrivores? Who are the detrivores or decomposers? Detrivores or decomposers are the same. Okay, so you have your bacteria, correct? Fungi, earthworm. Okay, these are the major detrivores. Okay, very important detrivores which are present. Okay, so in the dead, what is this detritus? Okay, they are the dead plant remains such as leaf, bark, flowers, and dead remains of animals including your fecal matter. They constitute your detritus, which is the raw material for decomposition. ரொம்ப முக்கியமான விஷயம். So all of you in the slide la என்ன புரிஞ்சுக்கணும் நீங்க? Decomposition na enna? Okay, what are detrivores and what are detritus? All these three should be absolutely clear for all of you guys. Okay, இப்போ நம்ம the process of decomposition பார்க்கலாம். Okay, very important questions come from NEET from this particular topic. Okay, what are the 5 important steps in the process of decomposition? Okay, so let's try to understand this. And this is an important question in your board exam also. Board exam, CBSE board exam, இது ரொம்ப முக்கியமான question. முதல்ல என்ன ஆகுது? Fragmentation நடக்குது, அதுக்கப்புறம் leaching நடக்குது, catabolism, humidification and mineralization. So how do we remember this? 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒄𝒆𝒔𝒔. Okay, do I have to write it in the same order? Yes, pasangla, you guys have to remember it in the same order itself. Okay, இதே orderல தான் நீங்க படிக்கணும், எழுதணும். Okay, so first let's talk about fragmentation. And the wordly answer இருக்கு pasangla, detrivores. Just now I spoke to you. What are detrivores? They are organisms which feed on detritus. Okay, they break down detritus into smaller particles. Okay, இந்த மாதிரி பெரிய chunk மாதிரி இருக்க organic matter, okay, they basically break down into smaller fragments. That is what we call it as fragmentation. And who is doing this? The detrivores are doing this. Okay, the next one is the leaching. What is leaching pasangla? இப்படி சின்ன fragment ஆயிட்டே இருக்கும்போது you can see the water soluble inorganic nutrients that are released, they go deep into the soil horizon. So imagine this is your soil. Okay, இங்க வந்து fragmentation நடக்குது. அப்போ இந்த water soluble nutrients, they go deep into the soil. That is what we call it as leaching pasangla, and gets precipitated as unavailable salt. Okay, so this unavailable salt and water soluble inorganic nutrients are 2 important keywords that you guys should remember. Okay, இது கொடுத்துட்டு dash and dash ன்னு கொடுத்துடலாம் உங்க examல. You guys need to be able to remember this. Okay, so this is going to improve the fertility of my soil. Okay, leaching is very, very important. Next, catabolism. So what is catabolism, pasangla? It is the bacteria and fungal enzyme degrade the detritus into simple inorganic substance. Ma'am, appo catabolism ko fragmentation ko enna ma'am difference? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone think about, ma'am, fragmentation, the pieces are broken. Here also it is broken. But what is the difference between fragmentation and catabolism? Any idea? Anyone will tell me? See, pasangla, fragmentation is a physical process. Okay, the organisms like earthworm uses its mouth parts, okay, to break down the matter. Okay, இங்க வந்து enzymatic action அவ்வளோ கிடையாது. But in catabolism, it is an enzymatic action that is involved. Okay, so who is producing the enzyme? Here the bacteria and fungi are producing the enzymes which are going to break my organic, okay, it is going to break the simpler inorganic, in order detritus like organic matter, it is going to break into inorganic matter, and that is what we call it as catabolism. All of you remember, catabolism is an enzymatic process where your bacteria and fungi are involved. Okay, this humification is so very important. நிறைய வாட்டி கேட்டிருக்காங்க உங்களோட PYQsல. All of you know humus. தமிழ்ல என்னப்பா சொல்லுவாங்க humusக்கு? Does anyone know? களிமண்ணுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க தெரியுமா? ஒரு திக்கான ஒரு பேஸ்ட் மாதிரின ஒரு substance that is present in the soil, right? So clay, we call it as clay in English, right? So what is this humification? It is the process of formation of humus. என்ன சொல்றாங்க அத? The process of formation of humus is called humification. So humification and mineralization occur during decomposition in the soil. முதல்ல humification பத்தி பார்க்கலாம். It leads to the accumulation of dark colored amorphous substance called humus. It is dark colored amorphous. I think all of you know amorphous and crystalline. Amorphous na enna? Powder mari, right? So it will be like a powder like structure. It is very, very darkly colored. It is highly resistant. All these words are key terms, pasangla. Highly resistant to microbial action and undergoes decomposition at an extremely slow rate. ஏன் வந்து இதுக்கு decomposition ரொம்ப ஸ்லோவா இருக்கு? Because they are telling it is highly resistant to microbes. Okay, so அது வந்து microbesனால கூட அந்த humus வந்து attack பண்ண முடியாது. So greater the content of humus, greater will be the fertility of the soil. That is very, very, very important. Did everyone understand what is humification? நான் underline பண்ணிருக்க term ஒரு termோ முக்கியமான questions பசங்களா உங்களோட NEET example. You will see. With proof, I'll show you. There are so many questions that is being asked from this one particular topic. Humification. Okay. Especially your entire decomposition is very, very important. Okay. நம்ம லாஸ்டா பார்க்க போறது mineralization. The humus, இந்த humus வந்து already சொன்ன மாதிரி அது வந்து ரொம்ப ஸ்லோவா degrade ஆகும், but degrade ஆகும். They never told it will not get degraded. It degrades very, very slowly at a very slower pace. It is further degraded by some microbes and release the inorganic nutrients into this process is called mineralization. So what are the minerals? You have silicon, okay, you have potassium, you have sodium, okay, you have magnesium. All these minerals are released. That is what we call it as mineralization, pasangla. These are the 5 important steps, okay, of your decomposition: fragmentation, leaching, catabolism, humification, and mineralization. Most important is all these 3, the first 3, okay. Leaching, catabolism, and humification are very, very, very important. Okay, so by this we complete decomposition, and here it is very important to understand, pasangla, decomposition is an oxygen requiring process. Appadina enna? What do you mean by oxygen requiring? It is an aerobic process. Keklam. Okay, they can give you statements. Okay, decomposition is an anaerobic process. True or false? It is false. Decomposition is a truly aerobic process. The rate of decomposition is controlled by the chemical composition of detritus and climatic factors. Climatic factors play a very, very major role in determining the rate of decomposition. In a particular climatic condition, decomposition rate is slower if the detritus is rich in lignin and chitin. Okay, so this line is very, very important. So decomposition is slower when it is rich in lignin and chitin. Yeah, ma'am, can you guys tell me why is the decomposition very slow here? Any idea? Any idea why is the decomposition very slow in this case? Because this lignin and chitin pasangla, they are complex polysaccharide, ரொம்ப complicated on our structure. So to break them, absolutely it will take more time. So the decomposition of lignin and chitin are very, very slow. But see this, see the second statement. If the detritus is rich in nitrogen and water soluble substances like sugar, the decomposition is very, very high. We have a PYQ from here, pasanga. Just wait. Okay. So temperature and soil moisture are the most important climatic factor, okay, that regulate decomposition through their effects on the activity of soil microbe. Warm and moist environment, both of them are very, very important for the decomposition rate. It determines the decomposition rate. Okay. So whereas low temperature and anaerobiosis, what is anaerobiosis? No oxygen inhibit the decomposition, resulting in buildup of organic material. This line is very, very important. So நீங்க மொத்தமா என்ன புரிஞ்சுக்கணும்? Decomposition is aerobic. Okay, it requires warm and moist environment. ரெண்டுமே ரொம்ப முக்கியமான விஷயம். Warm and moist environment are very, very important. And one more thing, you have great amount of lignin and chitin irundhuchuna, the degradation will become very, very slower. Whereas if they have glucose and sugars, they are going to play a very, very easy role in decomposition. Okay, remember all these factors, they are quite important. Yes, now we will move on to productivity ஆயிடுச்சு, decomposition ஆயிடுச்சு. இப்போ நம்ம பார்க்க போறது energy flow. Okay, and remember anaerobiosis and low temperature inhibit your decomposition process. Okay, now we shall move on pasangla. Energy flow பத்தி பார்க்கலாம். Except for the deep sea hydrothermal vent ecosystem, sun is the only source of energy for all the ecosystem on earth. Okay, what is this deep sea hydrothermal vent? உங்க ஓஷன் குள்ள hot water springs இருந்துச்சுனா அததான் நம்ம வந்து deep sea hydrothermal vent ன்னு சொல்றோம். Okay, and these deep sea hydrothermal vent is where your sunlight cannot perforate, right? So they are not having sun as their ultimate source of energy. So from where do they get their energy? You have this chemosynthetic bacteria which actually convert your inorganic matter into its food. Okay, அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கு அங்க. Otherwise நம்ம எல்லா பயோஸ்பியருக்கும், the entire biosphere, the entire ecosystem gets its ultimate source of energy from the sun. Okay, in the sunல சில radiation மட்டும்தான் they will be active for photosynthesis. Okay, we call it as photosynthetically active radiation. Can anyone tell me what is this PAR? PAR எவ்வளவு தூரம் இருக்கும் பசங்களா? What is the nanometer of PAR? In photosynthesis chapter we have discussed. Anyone knows? Anyone knows? PAR value, it is 400 to 700 nanometer. Visible range. Okay, so of the incident solar radiation, less than 50%, இந்த numbers எல்லாம் ரொம்ப முக்கியம், less than 50% of it is photosynthetically active radiation. ரொம்ப முக்கியமான விஷயம். We know that plants and photosynthetic bacteria fix sun's radiant energy to make food in the form of simple inorganic material. So we use carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, chlorophyll to produce the food. Correct? So yaar and in the entire process help pandra, it is your sunlight. Okay, so here what are they talking about? They are talking about a process called photosynthesis. Okay, and the next line is very important. Out of these 50%, okay, only these plants consume only 2 to 10%. All these are NCERT lines. They have been asked in the past. Okay, ditto they will copy paste and they'll give you a question. Okay, 2% of the energy mattromதான் உங்க plants ஆல யூஸ் பண்ணப்படுது பசங்களா, and that is how the plants are able to feed the entire biosphere. அப்ப அந்த sunlight ஓட எனர்ஜியை கொஞ்சம் யோசிச்சு பாருங்க பசங்களா. So I will just make it very clear. Okay, the sun's energy reaches your earth. So adula vandu you have less than 50% of it is PAR, photosynthetically active radiation. Okay, in the 50% la, how much is your plant using? Your plant is using only 2 to 10% of the entire PAR. PAR na photosynthetically active radiation to feed the entire earth, to sustain life on earth. Okay, isn't it interesting? It's very simple. Simple things, the same thing will be copy pasted and it will be asked. Okay, இப்போ நம்ம producers பத்தி பார்க்கலாம். producers na yaru, consumers na yaru, இதெல்லாம் நீங்க கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 4th 5th ல இருந்தே படிச்சிட்டு இருப்பீங்க. Yes, I understand, right? So we'll just have a quick brush up. Who are producers? Producers are the green plants in the ecosystem. Not just green plants, we also have this photosynthetic bacteria which are also grouped under producers. Okay, so in terrestrial ecosystem, please do underline this line. In terrestrial ecosystem, major producers are herbaceous and woody plant, all your trees, plants. Okay, herbs, shrubs and trees, they are the major producers. Whereas in aquatic ecosystem, you have certain species like phytoplanktons, algae, higher plants. I think all of you know about diatoms. We studied in biological classification. Okay, these diatoms are the chief producers in ocean. They are photosynthetic in nature. Okay, so our aquatic ecosystem la nadakra photosynthesis, so or a terrestrial ecosystem la nadakra photosynthesis, so they are totally different pasangla. So when it comes to your the aquatic ecosystem, majority of the photosynthesis is contributed by phytoplankton, algae and your protozoans like your diatoms, protista like your diatoms. Okay, purinjada? Can we continue now? So let's talk about consumers. Okay, so producers are those, they are photosynthetic. So idla vandu plants varo, bacteriaவும் வரும், அதையும் மறந்துடக்கூடாது. Okay, cyanobacteria, algae, all that comes here when I talk about producers. Okay, next we shall move on to consumers. Okay, let me make it very, very simple. So who are these consumers? They don't prepare their own food, right? So they depend on plants for their food, right? So நம்ம இந்த consumers என்னன்னு சொல்றோம்? We call them as heterotrophic, right? என்னன்னு சொல்றோம்? heterotrophic ன்னு சொல்றோம். So மூணு வகையான consumers இருக்காங்க. Primary consumers, okay, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers. So what are these primary consumers? Primary consumers are those who directly feed upon the plants. All your herbivores, right? All your herbivores come under your primary consumers. Then who are secondary consumers? Those organisms that feed upon primary consumers are called secondary consumer. Then who are tertiary consumer? Those organisms which feed upon the secondary consumer. It just goes as an interaction. What is this interaction called? We call it as food chain, right? So always try to understand, this is very, very important. So heterotrophic thavara, you also have other kind of consumers. We call them as saprophytic. Can anyone watching the live tell me what is saprophytic? Consumers la rendu vidham irukanga, one வந்து heterotrophic, இன்னொன்னு வந்து saprotrophic. What is saprotrophic? At least one of you. Yes, they basically eat or feed upon the dead and decayed matter. Okay, அப்படினா என்ன? They are going to act upon your detritus. That is very, very important. They consume your detritus. Okay, yes. Now you see these lines, it is going to make sense for you guys. Okay, all animals depend on plants directly or indirectly for their food. நம்ம எல்லாருமே directavo indirectavo, we are all dependent on plants. They are hence called consumers and also heterotrophs. Yes, microorganisms. Yes, if they feed on producers, the plants, they are called primary consumer. And if they feed and if the animals eat other animals which in turn eat the plants, they are called secondary consumer. Like that that we have tertiary consumers as well. Okay, now one very important thing that you guys should understand is food chain. Okay, what is food chain? படிச்சிருப்பீங்க சில பேர் செகண்ட் தேர்ட் ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்ல இருந்து கூட படிச்சிருப்போம் கரெக்ட்டா. What is food chain? It is an interconnection between organisms. So it is going to show the feeding habits in a particular ecosystem. அதுதான் நம்ம வந்து food chain ன்னு சொல்றோம் பசங்களா. So that's very important. That is what we are going to study. It indicates the interdependence of organism on one another. See, you have grass. Okay, so grass is eaten by grasshopper. Okay, then this grasshopper is eaten by another bird. Now this bird is eaten by another carnivore. Right? So this is our interdependency in solro. There are two kinds of food chain. One is your grazing food chain, other one is your detritus food chain. Romba mukkiyamaana vishayam pasangala. Grazing food chain na enna, this first organism here will be a producer. Okay, detritus food chain na, the first trophic level will be a detritus. Detritus na enna? Dead and decayed matter. I have a picture, I can show it to you. This is what is happening here pasangla. So this is how a food chain looks. This is a grazing food chain. In grazing food chain, what do you see? This is a producer. Okay, in detritus food chain, what do you see? The first trophic level is occupied by a detritus. Okay, this worm is eating the detritus and you have another organism eating it. Adhaan nama vandu DFC nu solrom. Detritus food chain. Grazing food chain is GFC. Okay, idoda clear ana difference therinjiknom. Detritus na enna and grazing food chain na enna. So detritus la yaar pasangla, who is there in the first trophic level? It is your detritus. Detrivorous kuda kediyadhu, detritus. Here who is there in the first trophic level? It is your producers. Okay, now we shall continue. Right, listen to these lines very careful. I know it is like or mari monotonous irukum because they are facts. You cannot do anything. You have to remember those facts in some or the other way. That is what I am trying to do here. Okay. So in an aquatic ecosystem, GFC, grazing food chain, is the major conduit for energy flow. Okay, or aquatic ecosystem la yaar vandu romba adhigamana energy kudukranga? GFC. GFC na enna pasangla? Grazing food chain. This is a potential question in your NEET exam pasangla. Okay, as against this, in a terrestrial ecosystem, a much larger fraction of energy flows through your detritus food chain. Hi. So you have an aquatic food chain, aquatic ecosystem and terrestrial ecosystem. So aquatic ecosystem la yaar vandu major energy kudukra? It is your grazing food chain. Enoda terrestrial ecosystem la yaar vandu major energy flow pandra? It is your detritus food chain. So if you have your NCERT, please do highlight this. It is all these small points. Kandipa podren, kandipa, yes. I think it's already videos are there. We will upload it in another 2 days. Yeah, இப்போ இந்த லைன் புரிஞ்சுதா பசங்களா எல்லாருக்கும்? இதோட சம்மரியே இதுதான், இந்த ரெண்டு பாயிண்ட் மட்டும் தான். So you can take a sticky note, write this point and stick it above this point in your NCERT. Okay, so next பார்க்கலாம் பசங்களா. Detritus food chain may be connected with the grazing food chain at some level. See, your detritus and grazing food chain, they might be interconnected. Say for example, you take this. Okay, so these two food chain can be interconnected with each other. அததான் பசங்களா நம்ம food web ன்னு சொல்றோம். So okay, so that is what we are going to talk about. That is your food web. It is an interconnection of many such food chains. Okay, we can call it as a graphical representation of many food chains together is called a food web. அது வந்து ரொம்ப காம்ப்ளிகேட்டடா இருக்கும். Detritus food chain, grazing food chain, 2-3 detritus, 2-3 grazing எல்லாமே கம்பைன் ஆகி இருக்கிறது தான் உங்களோட food web. Okay, clear பசங்களா? Oh, see here. Some of the organisms of DFC are prey to the GFC. DFC not detritus food chain. They are prey to the GFC animal. And in a natural ecosystem, some animals like cockroach, crows, etc. are omnivores. Right? So they eat both plant and animals. Okay, these natural interconnection of food chain make it a food web. That's very, very important. So idhula romba mukkiyama idhaan pasangala. I'm very sure they can ask you this. ஏன்னா இது வரைக்கும் இப்போ இது கேட்கல, இந்த வருஷம் they can ask. Now let's move on to trophic level. Can anyone define what is trophic level? What is a trophic level? The position of an organism in the food chain. Now, I am a human, right? So, what is my position? Am I a producer? Am I a consumer? In consumer, am I a primary consumer, secondary consumer? That is what we call it as trophic level. எப்படி ஒரு கிளாஸ்ல வந்து மார்க்ஸ் வாங்கினா ரேங்க் கொடுக்கப்படுமோ அதே மாதிரி இங்க ஒரு பொசிஷன் கொடுக்குறாங்க. That position is called trophic level. நிறைய பேருக்கு இந்த கன்ஃபியூஷன் இருக்கு. trophic levelனா என்ன, food chainனா என்ன? Food chain is what you represent, okay? And the position of an organism in a food chain is called as trophic level. Clear பசங்களா? trophic levelனா என்னன்னு புரிஞ்சுதா? So நிறைய விதமான trophic level இருக்கு. So you have your first trophic level, second trophic level and third trophic level. So usually the first trophic level will be producers. Okay? மிச்ச எல்லா லெவலும் they will be consumers. Clear? Am I clear here? See, producers belong to the first trophic level. இதே ஒரு லைனா கொடுக்கலாம். Herbivores are primary consumers to the second and carnivores to the third trophic level. The important thing that you guys should note is ஒரு trophic level இருந்து இன்னொரு trophic level போகும்போது எனர்ஜி வந்து கம்மியாகும் பசங்களா. Energy never increases. Energy decreases from one trophic level to another trophic level. This is one such potential statement in your exam. Okay, how it decreases, why it decreases, we will see the 10% law. Okay, so when any organism dies, it is converted to detritus, obviously. Okay, so it is served as an energy for the decomposer. Organism at each trophic level depend on organisms below them. See, the secondary consumer, they depend on producers. Okay, tertiary consumers, they depend on these people, right? So there is an interdependency that is happening, and that is what we call it as a interconnection, or we can also call it as an energy flow. Okay, the energy matrum clear up they have given you an example, okay, of each trophic level. So producers, so this is in your trophic levels ninga kuduthirukanga, trophic levels, and here they have given examples. So listen to me very carefully. So producers, they are plants, right? So aquatic ecosystem la yaar and the producer pasangla, phytoplankton. So I will name it as A. They can ask you which are the producers in aquatic ecosystem. In terrestrial, we all know, right? Then primary consumer, okay, we call them as herbivores. We call them as second trophic level. Here, who are the secondary consumers or your primary consumers? That is second trophic level. Yaar pasangla? It is your zooplanktons. Okay, remember this. They can ask you which are the primary consumers in an aquatic ecosystem. Zooplanktons. Okay, so this is in your terrestrial, aquatic terrestrial. Secondary consumer yaru varva, fishes varum aquatic la, so idu vandu terrestrial. Tertiary consumer yaru, so both of these are in your terrestrial ecosystem. idha na vandu trophic level nu solren. Okay, thank you. Yesterday I think I posted it, right? You can follow that. So that's very effective. Nalla workout agum neenga adha follow pannina. Okay, yes. So எப்பமே காலையில எந்திரச்சோனே physics படிங்க, அதுக்கு அப்புறம் chemistry படிங்க, ஈவினிங் வந்து bio படிங்க. Yes, you can check it out, Alvin. It's in the video section. Okay, yeah. இப்போ நம்ம ஸ்டாண்டிங் கிராப், இது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப முக்கியமான விஷயம். மேம் கிராப்பா, அது எதுக்கு மேம் இங்க வருது? இட் இஸ் நாட் தட் கிராப் which you studied in your social science. Okay, so it is that crop. It is the certain mass of living material at a particular time in each trophic level. இப்போ producers இருக்காங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, எவ்வளவு producers இருக்காங்க, என்ன mass of the producers, that is what we call it as standing crop, right? So it is very very important பசங்களா இந்த standing crop ஓட definition. இது எல்லாமே மெமரைஸ் தான். கிட்டத்தட்ட இந்த மூணு சாப்டர் எது your organism and population, ecosystem, biodiversity and conservation. Whenever I read it, I remember my social science, right? ஆமாவா இல்லையா பசங்களா? நிறைய அதுக்கு ரிலேட் ஆகும். சில கான்செப்ட்ஸ் மட்டும் தான், இதுக்கப்புறம் நம்ம பார்க்க போற கான்செப்ட்ஸ் மட்டும் தான் கொஞ்சம் பயாலஜி ரிலேட்டட். Yes or no? So otherwise they are all definitions, right? So the standing crop is measured as the mass of living organism or the number in a unit area. So இது வந்து எப்படி நம்ம measure பண்றோம்? It is the number of organism or the mass of organism living in a unit area, right? So the biomass of a species is expressed in terms of fresh or dry weight. என்ன பசங்களா இது fresh weight na என்ன dry weight na என்ன? Fresh weight is the weight with water. Dry weight na dehydrated. அவங்க dehydrate ஆன அப்புறம் அவங்களோட weight என்ன இருக்குமோ அதுதான் dry weight, right? Yes. Now we will move on to 10% law. இது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப முக்கியமான விஷயம் பசங்களா. They have asked questions on this. முதல்ல 10% law na enna pasangla? The number of trophic level in the grazing food chain is restricted as the transfer of energy follows 10% law. Can anyone tell me what is this 10% law? நான் ஒரு pyramid வரைஞ்சிருந்தேன், அதுக்குள்ள நீங்க எல்லாருமே சொல்லிருங்க. Okay, these are your producers, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer. So let's take the energy in producer is around 30,000 joules. Okay, so இவங்க என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னா பசங்களா, listen to me very carefully. So as you go above the trophic level, okay, this producer is one trophic level, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, there are trophic level. As you go from one trophic level to another trophic level, the energy is decreasing. So அதுதான் நீங்க எல்லாருமே முதல்ல புரிஞ்சுக்கணும், energy decreases. Okay, and how much of energy is going from one trophic level to another trophic level? It is only 10%. Okay, so can anyone tell me what is 10% of 30,000? ரொம்ப ஈஸியான max. What is 10% of 30,000? Yes, quick. Yes, சொல்லுங்க பசங்களா. வெறும் 3000 joule. Right? இப்போ அது இன்னொரு trophic level போகும்போது it will be 10% of 3000. So that will be just 300 joule. Okay, and when it goes to the tertiary consumer, it will be 10% of 300. So that will just be 30 joules. So based on this, they can give you very, very easy numericals. Yes, Satish Kumar, very good. Alvin, very good, very good. இததான் நம்ம வந்து 10% lawn சொல்றோம். சரி மேம், 10% எனர்ஜி போகுது, மிச்ச 90% எனர்ஜிக்கு என்ன ஆகுது? Can anyone tell me what happens to the remaining 90% of the energy? அதுக்கு என்னமோ ஆகுது. What is happening? Very good, very good. என்ன ஆகுது பசங்களா அந்த மிச்ச 90% எனர்ஜிக்கு? Anybody? Anybody watching the live? What happens to the remaining 90%? Is it lost? Yes, it is lost. But how is it lost? Can anyone tell me? Very good, excellent. So the remaining 90% is lost as heat. I think all of you know that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. 10% is consumed. Remaining 90% is just lost. Okay, energy can neither be consumed, it can neither be created, it can only be transferred from one form to another form. Okay, that's very, very important. Thermodynamics, right? புரிஞ்சதா பசங்களா? இத பேஸ் பண்ணி கண்டிப்பா क्वेश्चन கேட்கலாம் பசங்களா. Okay, they can give you இதோடதுக்கு கொடுத்துருவாங்க. They will ask you to find out what is the energy at each trophic level. Very easy questions. So this is your 10% law. Any doubts in 10% law? This is very important. What happens to the remaining 90%? It is lost. And does the energy increase every trophic level? No, the energy decreases every trophic level. Okay, if this is clear, now we can continue. So இதுதான் பசங்களா, இங்கே டெக்ஸ்ட் புக்லயே கொடுத்திருக்காங்க, நான் சொல்லல. It is lost in form of heat. டெக்ஸ்ட் புக்லயே கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Right? From sun it goes into the plant, from plant it is going into your herbivore, there it is lost. So every time there is a transfer of energy from one trophic level to another trophic level, வெறும் 10% energy தான் போயிட்டு இருக்கு, மிச்ச 90% is just lost in the form of heat. Okay, yes. Now we will move on to pyramids. We are coming to the end of the chapter. Then we have PYQs. Okay, do stay tuned. PYQ solve பண்றதா ரொம்ப முக்கியம். Okay, நான் டைரக்டா இது ரொம்ப ஈஸியான டாபிக் நான் டைரக்டா PYQ ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணனா it will become very difficult for you guys to understand and you will not know which lines you should concentrate. Okay, yes. Graphical representation of a food chain is called as an ecological pyramid. It's a 3-dimensional. Okay, pyramid என்றது 3-dimensional. ஆனா நம்மளால போர்ட்லயோ சரி புக்லயோ மாதிரியோ சரி 3-dimensional figure வரைய முடியாது. So we are drawing it like a triangle. Okay. So there are 3 kinds of pyramid. Pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass and pyramid of energy. Pyramid of number எதை வந்து denote பண்ணும்? It indicates the number of, this you can note down பசங்களா, the number of organisms in each trophic level. This word is so very important. ஒரு trophic level எத்தனை organism இருக்குன்றதை denote பண்றது தான் pyramid of energy. Pyramid of biomass, it indicates the mass, biomass at each trophic level. ஒரு trophic level எவ்வளோ mass இருக்குது. Energy, very simple, it indicates the energy at each trophic. Okay, so we are going to study examples are very important பசங்களா. So முக்கியமா எந்த pyramid upright, எந்த pyramid inverted, அதை base பண்ணி நிறைய questions கேட்க போறாங்க. Okay, so first let's start pyramid of numbers. So இங்க என்ன கொடுத்திருக்காங்கன்னா example grassland ecosystem. Okay, what they have given? Grassland ecosystem. So ஒரு pyramid வந்து it can be upright. இந்த மாதிரி upright-ஆ இருக்கலாம். இல்ல it can be inverted. Right? So there are 2 kinds of pyramid. One is your upright pyramid. Another one is your inverted. So இந்த பேரெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. What is upright and what is inverted? What is upright pyramid பசங்களா? Can anyone tell me? When will a pyramid be upright? The pyramid will be upright when the first trophic level numbers are very high. Producers வந்து எந்த ecosystemல அதிகமா இருக்காங்களோ அப்போ வந்து என்னோட pyramid of numbers will be upright. So as you go from one trophic level to another trophic level, the number of organism decreases. Okay, and hence the grassland ecosystem is an example for an upright pyramid of numbers. Okay, so one question கேக்குறேன். Can you tell an example of inverted pyramid of numbers? Anybody? Inverted pyramid of numbers. சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். Inverted pyramid of numbers for example சொல்லுங்க. This is how they ask. Okay. Example என்னன்னா பசங்களா, tree ecosystem. Okay. இப்போ ட்ரீன்றது ஒரு எக்கோசிஸ்டம் தான். அந்த ட்ரீல வந்து இன்செக்ட்ஸ் இருக்கும். ஓகே, you'll have millipede, you'll have centipede, you'll have birds, sometimes you'll have monkeys. There are a lot of things. So tree also constitutes an ecosystem. Aquatic ecosystem is an example for pyramid of biomass. Okay, I am talking about pyramid of numbers, but very good guess. Okay, இங்க பாருங்க. இப்போ ட்ரீ எத்தனை இருக்கு பசங்களா? ஒரே ஒரு ட்ரீ இருக்கு. So this is going to form your producers. Okay, then you will have many insects. Okay, now these insects will be consumed by birds. Okay, now you guys understood. Fishes, I'll talk to you about it. It's a pyramid of biomass. Okay, இது புரிஞ்சதா பசங்களா? Example for inverted pyramid of number, tree ecosystem. This is also mentioned in your NCERT, but figure கொடுக்கல அவ்வளவுதான். Yes, now we shall continue to pyramid of biomass. So உங்களுக்கு என்ன புரியணும்? pyramid of numbers வந்து upright ஆவும் இருக்கலாம், inverted ஆவும் இருக்கலாம். Okay, yes, now we shall move on to pyramid of biomass. So இந்த pyramid of biomassல தான் நீங்க சொன்ன examples வரும். fishes, phytoplanktons அதெல்லாம் பார்க்கலாம். Okay, so pyramid of biomass னா எதை குறிக்கும்னா, it is the amount of dry weight per trophic level. And how is this dry weight measured? It is kg per meter cube. Okay, so inga paranga, if you see a grassland ecosystem, the biomass is going to decrease every trophic level. Absolutely. Yes or no? The number of lions, the number of tigers are always less when compared to the number of trees. Okay, and the number of deers are always less when compared to the number of trees. So always remember, so for an upright pyramid here, I still take an example of a grassland ecosystem. Now, the point where everyone gets confused is inverted. Okay, inverted pyramid of biomass. Example is what pasangla? It is an aquatic ecosystem. Enna ecosystem pasangla? Aquatic ecosystem. So, in aquatic ecosystem la enna nadakona? plants இருக்கு, I agree, plants கண்டிப்பா இருக்கு. ஆனா அந்த plants எல்லாம் மைக்ரோஸ்கோபிக்கா இருக்கும், அதோட மாஸ் வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப கம்மியா இருக்கும். We already discussed phytoplanktons, diatoms, right? They're all unicellular, right? So obviously their mass will be less or more. சொல்லுங்க பசங்களா, unicellular organism க்கு mass அதிகமா இருக்குமா கம்மியா இருக்குமா? Absolutely it will be less. So it forms an inverted pyramid. Okay, so இங்க பாருங்க, the first trophic level will be your producers. And who are the producers here பசங்களா? It is your phytoplanktons. Okay ma'am, phytoplanktons na enna ma'am? They are small microscopic autotrophic organism. Okay, next enna irukum pasangala? Next vandu zooplanktons irukum, right? Next enna irukum? Fishes irukum, small fishes. Next enna irukum? Very large fishes. இந்த whale எல்லாம் எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா அதோட weight அவ்வளவு ஜாஸ்தி இருக்கும், right? So you will have very large fishes. Now you guys understood? Is it clear? Is the confusion clear now? So your aquatic ecosystem is an example for an inverted pyramid of biomass. Clear? Okay. இப்போ நம்ம லாஸ்டா பார்க்க போறது pyramid of energy. Ma'am, you guys tell me, pyramid of energy ல inverted pyramid இருக்குமா? பயோமாஸ்ல இருந்துச்சு, நம்பர்ஸ்ல இருந்துச்சு. என்னோட pyramid of energy இதுல இருக்குமா? No பசங்களா. This is the first thing you should understand. Pyramid of energy can never ever be inverted. Please do put it in the chat section. ரொம்ப முக்கியம். Why? Why? Pyramid of energy is always upright. என்ன ஆனாலும் பசங்களா இது எப்பவுமே upright தான். Why? Because of this 10% law, right? Because the energy decreases from one trophic level to another trophic level. Try to understand that. Okay, the reason is energy. This reason is also very important. You guys should note it. Energy decreases at each trophic level. This is a solid reason why the pyramid of energy is always upright at each trophic level. புரிஞ்சதா பசங்களா? Is this point clear? ரொம்ப ஈஸியான point. And அது புரியாட்டி you can also remember it as 10% law. Okay, see this pasangla. An ideal pyramid of energy, observe that the primary producer convert only 1% of the energy in the sunlight available to them. Sunlight la irundhu vara verum ஒரே ஒரு % எனர்ஜி மட்டும் தான் அவங்க ஆர்கானிக் மேட்டராவோ இல்ல நம்பராவோ கன்வெர்ட் பண்றாங்க. This 1% is very important. This is given in your NCERT. கீழ you can go and mark it. Okay, ரொம்ப easy. Okay, ஒரு incident கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. I think okay, fine. So imagine this is 10,000 joule producers. Here it is how many? 10 lakh joule of sunlight. 10 lakh la irundhu veru 10,000 joule da energy எடுத்திருக்காங்க. What is that? It is just 1%. See, this is how you should read NCERT பசங்களா. சும்மா அப்படியே படிச்சிட்டு போனா பத்தாது. ஒரு டயகிராம்ல இருக்க ஒரு விஷயமும் நீங்க கான்சென்ட்ரேட் பண்ணணும். மேம் 1%ன்ற டெக்ஸ்ட் புக்லயே கொடுக்கல மேம். They have given. See, from 10 lakh to 10,000 joule. 10 lakh joule sunlight la irundhu verum 10,000 joules matramதான் they are actually taking it as an energy. Okay, please all of you write it as 1% in the chat section so you will remember it. So inga vandu 10%, inga vandu 1%. Clear ah pasangala? Indha idea purinjada? Okay, that is what I wanted to discuss. We already discussed this or revision mari. In most ecosystem, all the pyramids of number, energy and biomass are upright. Producers are more in number and biomass than the herbivores, and herbivores are more in number and biomass than the carnivore. This is clear. Okay, there are exceptions. Always remember exceptions ரொம்ப முக்கியம் உங்க NEET examக்கு. Physics நாலும் சரி, chemistry நாலும் சரி, biology நாலும் சரி. Okay, if you were to count the number of insects feeding on a big tree, what kind of pyramid you would get? Is it an upright or inverted? Just now we discussed. Answer this question. What kind of pyramid you would get? If there was a huge tree and you count the insects feeding on it, what kind of pyramid you get? You get an inverted pyramid. ரொம்ப முக்கியம். Okay, it is an inverted pyramid of numbers. Very good. நீங்க ரெண்டு பேர் புரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டீங்க. Super. Okay, so that is very, very important, pasangla. Now, add an estimate to the number of small birds depending on the insect and also the number of large bird eating the smaller. So, you get an inverted pyramid. The answer is this. Okay, so that completes this entire chapter. ரொம்ப simplify பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. முன்ன at least you had this carbon cycle, phosphorus cycle, succession, pioneer species, hydra, xeric, நிறைய இருந்துச்சு. Now it is very, very simplified. Okay, yes. Shall we get into the PYQs? இது already discussed பண்ணதான். Pyramid of energy can never be inverted because when energy flows from one trophic level to another trophic level, the energy is lost, the energy decreases. That point is very, very important. Each bar in the energy pyramid indicates the amount of energy present at each trophic level in the given time. Okay, ஒரு சிம்பிளான ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்கிறேன். பாப்போம் எத்தனை பேர் இதுக்கு ஆன்சர் பண்றீங்கன்னு. Just to brush up, ஒரு ஆக்டிவிட்டி மாதிரி பண்ணலாம். So this is your producers, this is your primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer. If, listen to me very, very carefully, if the energy here is 2000 joules, okay, what would be the energy in all other trophic levels? Primary, இதுதான் கொடுக்கணும்னு இல்லை, கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. பார்க்கலாம் எத்தனை பேர் கரெக்டா சொல்றீங்க. முதல்ல producers ஓட எனர்ஜி சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். யாராச்சும் producers ஓட எனர்ஜி சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். Primary consumer ஓட எனர்ஜி வந்து 2000 joule. Very good, you got the answer. It is 20,000. So அப்படியே மேல போகும். From here you can write it. 10%, it is 200, here it is 20. Simple questions they can ask. ஆனா இதுக்கு உங்களுக்கு என்ன பசங்களா தெரியணும், உங்களுக்கு 10% lawனா என்னன்னு தெரியணும். If you guys don't know what is 10% law, this question is a nightmare. ஆமாவா இல்லையா? 10% law தெரிஞ்சா நீங்க இந்த மாதிரி ப்ராப்ளம்ஸை ஈஸியா சால்வ் பண்ணிடலாம். இது பேர் நியூமெரிக்கல்ஸ் கூட கிடையாது, right? It's just simple logic based questions. Yeah. Now we shall move on to the PYQs. Let me see how many of you will answer it. Yes, shall we go on with the PYQs, pasangla? Can I get a victory sign in the chat section? So that completes ecosystem for you guys. Yeah. GPP, gross primary productivity. NPP is the net primary productivity. R year. This was asked in 2023. Okay, R na enna? Photosynthetic reproductive allocation, photosynthetically active radiation, respiratory quotient, respiratory loss. Answer சொல்லுங்க பசங்களா. Yes, 2023 ல கேட்கப்பட்ட ரொம்ப ஈஸியான question. Very good. It is respiratory loss. இதுல RQ எங்க படிக்கிறீங்க? Respiration chapterல படிக்கிறீங்க. அதுக்கும் இதுக்கும் சம்பந்தம் இல்லை. Okay, so this is your PAR. So the right answer is option 4. Yes, very good, very good. Next question, statement based question பசங்களா. Listen to it carefully. இது 2023 ல கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Decomposition is a process in which detritus is degraded into simpler substance by microbes. Yes, it is clear, right? So decomposition is faster if the detritus is rich in lignin and chitin. Again, நான் சொன்ன இந்த क्वेश्चனை கண்டிப்பா இந்த ஸ்டேட்மென்ட்டை புரிஞ்சு வச்சுக்கோங்க, கண்டிப்பா கேட்பாங்கன்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Right? So what is the right answer here? Statement 1 is absolutely correct, right? Statement 2 is wrong. Can anyone tell me what is the mistake in statement 2? என்ன பசங்களா தப்பா சொல்லிருக்காங்க? It is faster இல்ல பசங்களா? It is slower. Right? It is slower. Very good. All those who have answered it as 4, superb. Keep it up. Okay. So statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. இது கஷ்டமா இருக்கா? Does anyone feel it difficult? Tell me no. கஷ்டமா இருக்கா? கிடையவே கிடையாது. If you have listened to the lecture from the beginning, it's very, very easy. Okay. Next. Detritus break down detritus into smaller particle. This process is called, பாப்போம் எனக்கு எத்தனை விதமான ஆன்சர் வருதுன்னு பார்க்கலாம். நிறைய பேரு இந்த ஆப்ஷனுக்கும் இந்த ஆப்ஷனுக்கும் கன்ஃபியூஸ் ஆவீங்க. What is the answer? A Alvin it is 3 and why it is not 2? Can you tell me? Can we just retrospect it? Why it is not 2? ஏன்னா 2 breakdown தான். Right? The answer is option 3 பசங்களா. உங்க NCERT ல போய் பாத்தீங்கன்னா detritus breaking down the detritus is called fragmentation. Bacteria and fungi breaking is called as catabolism. Yes, very good, superb. I'm so happy. So the right answer is option 3. Okay, yes. Next question, Identify the correct set of statements. I think this is 2022. So, ஒரு வருஷத்துக்கு 3 question கேக்குறாங்க. ரெண்டுல இருந்து 3. Okay. So, what is the correct set of statement with regard to humus? Humus பத்தின correct ஆன விஷயம் எது? Humus is highly resistant to microbial action. It is dark colored amorphous substance. It is the end product of detritus food chain, reservoir of nutrients, undergoes decomposition very fast. இதுல எது வந்து correct ஆன statement? Let me see how many of you will tell me the right answer. Pasangla, first one correct? Absolutely correct. It is highly resistant to microbial action. Second one, yes, it is a dark colored amorphous substance, powder marina substance. நான் சொல்லிருந்தேன், it is the end product of detritus food chain. No, it is not the end product. Mineralization நடக்குது, கரெக்டா? So இது வந்து end product கிடையாது. Then it is a reservoir of nutrients. Absolutely correct. Okay, it undergoes decomposition very fast. இது தப்பு, இது வந்து slow. So what is the right answer பசங்களா? A, B and D. It is option A. இதுதான் correct. புரிஞ்சதா? Confusion clear ஆச்சா? This is wrong, sir. Clear? A, B and D. Is the answer clear, pasangla? So for these, you need to learn every word. எல்லா வேர்டும் உங்களுக்கு clear-ஆ ஞாபகம் இருந்தா மட்டும் தான் இந்த question நீங்க attend பண்ண முடியும். Okay? That's the whole point in NEET. Yes. Next question. Which of the following is not correct regarding decomposition? Decomposition பத்தி எவ்வளோ questions கேட்டிருக்காங்க பாருங்க. Simple, very very easy question. Answer பண்ணுங்க பசங்களா, பரவாயில்ல, தப்பா இருந்தாலும் பரவாயில்ல. All of us do mistakes. There is no one who is perfect. Okay, even the most well-read professor can do a mistake. Okay, yes, low temperature inhibits decomposition. See how they have picked from your NCERT. This is correct. Right? Warm and moist environment favors the process. Correct? The process is anaerobic. Is the process anaerobic, pasangla? Can anyone tell me? How is the process? The process is not anaerobic, pasangla. It is aerobic. So this statement is wrong. It is slower if the detritus is rich in proteins and carbohydrates. No, pasangla. It is not slower. It is faster. So this option is also wrong. Detritus is degraded into simple inorganic substance by fungal and bacterial enzymes. This is also correct. So what is the right answer, pasangla? What is the right answer? Which of the following is not correct in ketirukanga? Yes. So it is option C and option D, right? So idla na maranduten. Not correct, incorrect solradhukku. It's not correct. So the right answer. Very good, Vati. Very good, Alvin. Superb, superb. Yes. Shall we go to the next question, pasangla? Yeah, again it's a statement based question. Okay, அப்பத்துல இருந்து கத்தி சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தேன், பாப்போம் எத்தனை பேர் கரெக்டா சொல்றீங்கன்னு. Pyramid of energy is always upright and is the most efficient. Pyramid of biomass in C is generally inverted. What is the right answer? What is the right answer? ரொம்ப easy. Yes, statement 1 is correct. Statement 2 is incorrect. 2 pyramid of biomass சொல்லிருக்காங்க. Generally inverted. That is also correct. So both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. That's the right answer. Yes, very good, very good. Yeah. Shall we continue? We have நிறைய questions இருக்கு பசங்களா இந்த ஒரு chapterல. Okay. The amount of biomass or organic matter produced per unit area over a time period by plants during photosynthesis. இதோட definition. This is based on oh, okay. I didn't notice. Not correct, ma'am. Last question. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, even I didn't notice initially. Then I noticed. It's okay. Yeah. இதை சொல்லுங்க பசங்களா. இதோட ஆன்சர் என்ன? Secondary production productivity மாத்திக்கோங்க. Primary productivity, gross primary productivity, net primary productivity. இதோட ஆன்சர் என்ன? It is primary productivity. நிறைய பேர் கன்ஃபியூஸ் ஆகும். Okay, பாருங்க இந்த question ரெண்டு வாட்டி ரிப்பீட் ஆயிருக்கு பாருங்க. 2023 ல கேட்டிருக்காங்க. I think this 2017 or 18. 2 times it is repeated. By now all of you know the answer. It is respiratory loss. That's it. This chapter is done. You guys can answer any question that is asked from here. Next, which of the following statement is not correct? Or pencil எடுத்து not correct first underline பண்ணிடுவோம். Pyramid of energy is always upright. Absolutely correct. Pyramid of number in a gasland ecosystem is upright. Pyramid of biomass in a sea is generally inverted. Correct. pyramid of biomass in C is generally upright. This is wrong, right? So that is upright kadayadu, adu vandu inverted. So when do I get the speed of answering the question? Only when you practice, only when you're very, very sure, right? Very good, Bharti, very good. Next, in relation to gross primary productivity and net primary productivity of an ecosystem, which of the following statement is correct? I already discussed pannirundhen. GPP, NPP, எது வந்து correct ன்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க. GPP is always more than NPP. GPP and NPP are one and the same. This is absolutely wrong. Okay, I know, now I learned the art of deleting the wrong options. Okay, then there is no relationship between gross primary productivity and net primary productivity. That is also wrong. Gross primary productivity is always less than the net primary productivity. எது பசங்களா right answer? நான் சொன்னேனா இல்லையா Alvin? I told you always பசங்களா gross is more. Yes, very good. The gross primary productivity is always more than the net primary productivity. நம்ம எப்படி எழுதுறோம் பசங்களா? Net primary productivity is equal to GPP minus R ன்னு எழுதுறோம். அப்ப absolutely my GPP is more when compared to my NPP. Right? Clear? So this is one question, which is a very possible question. Next question. Which of the following statement is incorrect? In the 4 statement, இது வந்து தப்பான statement. Biomass decreases from 1st to 4th trophic level. Energy gradually increases from 1st to 4th trophic level. Number of individual decreases from 1st trophic level to 4th trophic level. Energy content gradually decreases from 1st to 4th trophic level. இதுல எது incorrect? பாப்போம், who will tell me the right answer? How many of you are aware? Fulla concentrate பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்கன்னு பாப்போம். They have played with words, increasing, decreasing. ரொம்ப இது பண்ணிருக்காங்க. Biomass incorrect பசங்களா. See, this is where we all go wrong. This is incorrect. Okay, biomass obviously it is decreasing. That is why I have this. Energy, does the energy increase? No, the energy decreases. Right? So the right answer for this is option 2. கிளியரா யோசிங்க, யோசிச்சுட்டு சொல்லுங்க. எனர்ஜி இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகுமா ஒரு ட்ரோபிக் லெவல்ல இருந்து இன்னொரு ட்ரோபிக் லெவலுக்கு? ஆகாது. எனர்ஜி வந்து டிக்ரீஸ் ஆகும். So what is the right answer? It is option 2. Is this clear? புரிஞ்சதா? Next question. The rate of decomposition is faster in the ecosystem due to the following factor except detritus rich in sugar, warm and moist environment, presence of aerobic soil microbe, detritus. That's the confusion. No. அங்க வந்து aquatic ecosystem ன்னு அவங்க மென்ஷன் பண்ணல. இது வந்து energy decreases ன்னு கொடுத்திருக்கணும். Crazy dude. Here they should have given energy decreases. If energy is increasing, it will be inverted, right? Clear now? கொஞ்சம் யோசிங்க. ஒரு 2 minutes யோசிங்க இது எப்படின்னு. Clear now? இதுக்கு ஆன்சர் வந்து 4. Yes. Yeah. So இதுக்கு ஆன்சர் வந்து 2, இதுக்கு வந்து ஆன்சர் 4. Obviously, which will basically enhance my decomposition? Detritus rich in sugar, warm and moist environment, presence of aerobic soil microbes, and detritus richer in lignin and chitin. This is going to slow down my process. Okay, decompositionல எவ்வளோ question கேட்டிருக்காங்க நீங்களே கண் கூட பாருங்க. Next. Which of the following ecological pyramid is generally inverted? Now tell me. இப்போ confusion இல்லாமையே சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். இதுல வந்து 4 pyramidல எது வந்து ஒரு inverted pyramid ன்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Very good. I think now Alvin your confusion is clear, right? So it is a pyramid of biomass in a sea. Okay, that is what is an example for an inverted pyramid. Okay, yes. We have one more question. What type of புரிஞ்சதா எல்லாருக்கும்? What type of ecological pyramid would be obtained with the following data? Producer 10 gram, primary consumer 60 gram, secondary consumer 120 gram. So what kind of pyramid it is? Grams கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. அப்பனா என்ன மாதிரியான pyramid? It is obviously pyramid of biomass. So I have to delete pyramid of energy யும் கிடையாது, pyramid of numbers யும் கிடையாது. நான் இப்போ வந்து இந்த ரெண்டு ஆப்ஷன்ல ஏதாச்சும் ஒன்று சூஸ் பண்ணணும். See how I am approaching the question. Grams இருக்கு. So grams னா என்ன பசங்களா? Biomass. right? I cannot tell it in numbers or I cannot tell it in energy. Energy na calories irukkum. Okay, so it is a pyramid of biomass. Now I have to choose whether it's a inverted or upright. Very good, Alvin. So enna solranga, primary producer வந்து 10 gram. Okay, அப்புறம் என்ன சொல்றாங்க, secondary producer வந்து 60 gram. Sorry, primary consumer. Then you have your 120 gram. So what is it? It's an inverted pyramid. Absolutely correct. Okay, இந்த மாதிரி questions பார்த்து பயப்படாதீங்க. It just requires 1 or 2 steps of processing the question in your mind and getting the right answer. ரொம்ப easy. Okay, இதை பார்த்தோன்னே இது எப்படி மேம் எழுதுறது, அந்த கன்ஃபியூஷனே வேண்டாம். It's very easy. Only when you know the concept. உங்களுக்கு கான்செப்ட் தெரியணும். And that is what you guys should be very sure about. Yes. The next question, which ecosystem has the maximum biomass? எந்த ecosystemல அதிகமான biomass இருக்கு? Whether it's forest, grassland, pond, lake. இந்த 4 ecosystemல which, this is very general பசங்களா, இதுக்கு நீங்க இந்த lesson படிக்கணும்னே தேவையில்லை. It was asked in 2016. Right? அப்பலாம் நம்ம NEET exam எழுதிருந்தா ஃபுல்லா clear பண்ணிருக்கலாம். Right? So now the competition level is increasing. Absolutely. Forestல தான பசங்களா நிறைய trees இருக்கும், நிறைய thick-ஆன bushes இருக்கும். So obviously there it is more and more biomass is there. It has maximum biomass. Okay? Yeah. Yes, that's for today's session பசங்களா. So இன்னைக்கு செஷன்ல நம்ம ஃபுல்லா கவர் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். என்ன கவர் பண்ணியிருக்கோம்? Ecosystem line by line with PYQs. இதை தவிர ஏதாச்சும் கேட்பாங்களா? 100% கேட்க மாட்டாங்க. So you here நிறைய பேர் இன்னைக்கு ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணியிருப்பீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் ப்ரிப்பரேஷனை. Today start your preparation by assuring you 8 marks in your NEET exam. Okay, 8 to 12 marks. So on a safer side, we'll consider it to be 8 marks. Okay, yes. So 8 marks நீங்க வந்து இன்னைக்கு 1 hour என் கூட ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணி நீங்க வந்து you have gained it. Okay, do stay tuned for more bio learning. Any என்ன சொல்றது, ஏதாவது chapter recommendation இருக்கா? Next what chapter you guys want me to do? So very soon we will be launching a free biology crash course mari on YouTube. Okay, maybe it will be done in Feb midweek. So அப்போ நம்ம எக்ஸாம்குள்ள every day we will do chapters, every day we will do PYQs. We will soon launch it. Yeah, any chapter recommendation is there, please do put it in the comment section. Don't forget to leave a comment. Do like, யாரெல்லாம் இந்த வீடியோ பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கீங்களோ please மறக்காம like பண்ணுங்க, share பண்ணுங்க, and do leave your feedback. Thank you so much. Yes, sure. Thank you. Anything else, please do let me know. Thanks for learning with me, and let's stay tuned for one more session. So நாளைக்கு quiz பண்ண போறோம், molecular basis of inheritance, PYQs and statement based question. Those who are interested can join. We will notify you the time in the community. Okay, thank you so much. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Take care.